Trial 1 complete. Not that we noticed.
So
we're now looking for Lily, who's wandered off again because she has no sense of direction.
So one thing that's funny that's not completely related to the game at all is that I love how Rotom is Johnny's best friend.
This is the same battle stance the preschooler was using.
They all have the same battle stance, actually.
Rotom also has a random Lewis and Ryan tab. But nothing seems to happen when you click on them.
You know what? Actually,
ball.
that would be a good thing to have on the bottom screen, like just a tab to check your status of your Pokemon at any given time. You know, I don't know if you show off Festival Plaza in this. Probably not.
No. But the bottom screen has to be exclusively for Rotom undressing you with his eyes.
Like, because the one thing about Gen 6 that didn't make it into Gen 7 is the Pokemon search thing, which made connecting with your friends really easy. And now it's a pain in the fucking ass with the Festival Plaza, which I never bother with because it's a waste of time.
Yes, it's a watered-down version of whatever that thing was called in Black and White 2.
Join Avenue, I think?
Yeah, that thing that was actually kind of fun to do because it gave you really good stuff.
I mean, the stuff you can get in Festival Plaza can be pretty good. It just takes
it's way more tedious.
It takes so much more work to get it. Like, you can get stuff that will, like, level up your Pokemon by, like, 12 levels at once or stuff like that. But you have to do so many missions in the Festival Plaza, which is just talking to people or riding on the Tauros for forever, and it's just so... Ugh.
The time you could be spent doing that, you can
just
easily
leveled
be
them up
getting your
anyway.
Pokemon leveling. Yeah, just doing the traditional way.
Yeah, like, I think the best thing... I think you might be able to get, like, bottle caps or something from it, or whatever, or specific items, but, you know what? I just get them from Pokepelago, which is actually really good. So...
Yeah. The Galaxy Fart.
Cosmog's adorable. I love this little guy. Like, I mean, I think
Needs to stay in the damn bag.
You know, I believe he's got some of the weakest stats out of any Pokemon. Hold on, I'm gonna give it a look.
I still think he's better than Sunkern, but
well, yeah, but let's see, Cosmog.
Not a very high bar.
No, oh yeah, its base stat total is 200, which is like Weedle areas. let me check Sunkern. It might be equal with Sunkern, actually. Yeah, okay, no, just barely above Sunkern. Sunkern's 180.
So Sunkern's still worst Pokemon ever confirmed.
Well, Cosmog can only learn Splash and Teleport, so it wouldn't be able to beat a fight against a Sunkern who learns, like, Tackle and shit.
One touch that I really do kind of like is the way you sort of wade through the grass.
Oh, yeah, like, you actually wade through the grass. There's different animations for walking and running through the grass as well. This game, for a 3DS game, this looks really, really nice. It's one of the best looking games on the system.
The problem is that 3DS cannot handle it.
It's also little touches like that, you know, the sense of adventure that I brought up earlier isn't just about progression, it's also about how you feel about what you're doing. And it's little touches like that make you feel more like you're on an adventure looking for these Pokemon rather than playing an RPG grinding up Pokemon, you know?
Yeah, basically.
It's something that the Pokemon games have always had to some extent, but I think it's really only come out visually in the most recent games. And
which is why everyone's really excited for potential Gen 8 on the Switch.
Yeah, and I think Sun and Moon are the first games to really nail it home with the shift to a more realistically proportioned anime style rather than, you know,
whatever
X and Y was trying to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird. The Pokemon games kind of almost, like, it takes once every couple of generations, they're graphically impressive. Like, Gen 1, no. Gen 2, for Game Boy Color, yeah, that's impressive. Gen 3 and 4, not really. But Gen 5, yeah. Gen 6, sorta. And Gen 7, yeah, definitely. So, hopefully Gen 8, like, actually does look good for an HD game. We'll see.
Well, I imagine we'll consider going from not even 4x3 on the 3DS to... you know, at least 720p.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of weird. Pokemon has very strange area design is the thing, where everything's kind of like little groups, for example. And I'm wondering if they're going to change the way the areas, like, look and feel and connect in order to accommodate an HD system. Like, are they going to try to do more open worlds to specify, to, like, show off, like, oh, look at how much more power.
Because now we'll be on that.
Now we're
on like actual TVs that are really big.
This is also going to technically be the first console main series Pokemon game too, so there's also those kinds of expectations as well. I mean, honestly, since Pokemon is to me like the handheld video game, like it's Pokemon and Tetris, I'm probably going to be playing it handheld most of the time anyway. but still, like it still can be played on a console, and plenty of people are going to do
You know,
that.
there are ideas about how a Pokemon trainer's life would go that I'd like to see brought up in the games. Like, you know, you sort of see...
What do they eat for lunch?
You sort of see hints of it
Malasadas.
on character designs where they've always got these backpacks and whatnot. And it's implied that they're out camping most of the time. You don't really see it because it's a video game, so no one ever sleeps, no one needs to eat. And
Yeah,
So
these
you want
te-
Final Fantasy 15 Pokemon?
Yeah, we've been
Final
seeing
Fantasy
it, right?
15 is going overboard, but it you know, something in that spirit would be nice. I mean, in the Pokemon anime, we had
They were camping out all the time,
They were
but
camping
yeah.
out all the time, eating their jelly donuts and whatnot. And
I use my frying pan
meanwhile,
as a
Gary-
drying pan.
Meanwhile,
I got it. What is it, design
meanwhile-
team? I have come up with a new Pikachu.
Meanwhile, Gary and his cheerleaders were off on the Final Fantasy 15 road trip the whole time. You see, it works. Yeah, it would be interesting if they brought some of those elements in, even as a bit part, just to, you know, they brought in the you can pet your Pokemon thing to emphasize the
Bring
cute-
back the lead Pokemon walking behind you.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
I
that's
missed that. So
That'd be cool, too.
I missed that so much from Heart Gold
So, okay,
Silver.
so what's frustrating is that there's actually data in Sun and Moon for running animations and walking animations for every single Pokemon in the game. Or at least a good amount of them. I don't remember if it's all
Really?
of them. Yeah, there is. And so it probably was an idea at some point that got cut. I don't know why, but, you know, it's
Maybe
it's
to make
the
it-
best feature in Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Having that extra Pokemon out there is an extra resource draw. They might have cut it out for that reason.
yeah, but
Potentially, but maybe they're also saving it to be a big thing for, you know, Gen 8. Look how cool it is on the big screen and all that.
I mean, granted, like, you're gonna have to resize the Pokemon, because you can't have a Wailord be actual size if you do something like that, because it's literally, like, the size of a house. But, I mean, still, like, I don't care if they're weirdly proportioned or whatever. Charizard's a different height every time it sneezes. Who cares? You know, I just want them following behind me.
It's really got to get that fixed.
It's funny, because in the anime, Charizard doesn't change height from episode to episode. It sometimes changes height scene to scene. It's really
That's
fascinating.
always
Also,
the
the other
answer
weird
for
thing,
Rocky.
also the weird thing about the anime is always that Ash is a fucking bodybuilder. Apparently, if you listen, apparently he lifted whatever Cosmog's second stage is,
Oh, Cosmoem?
and in the Cosmo and then the Dex entry is like 500 pounds.
No, it's 2,000 pounds. It's a ton.
2,000?
It's the maximum amount of weight that can be listed in the Pokedex. And dude, Ash picked that thing up. Lily keeps it in her backpack for the second half of the game. All right, like Lily's beast. Okay.
But yeah, they've taken strides toward emphasizing the sense of adventure with this game. I'd like to see them take that a little further. And, you know, if you're going to keep
Well, hopefully that can be a thing, as you mentioned, with more open area design.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it doesn't even need to be necessarily open areas. It's how do I put this? I don't really think there's a problem with Sun and Moon's approach to area design.
Yeah, it is basically just old style Pokemon design, but instead of going in a straight line or like having branching path, it's just a really
He's
weird.
so goddamn dapper.
It's just a weird squiggly line over a map that just ends up being a hallway. You know, this is
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 13 hallway design, but made interesting.
No. This is more like Final Fantasy X. 13
Okay.
was.
Okay, I'll
way
take your word for it because I
hallway.
haven't played 10, but yeah.
10 has, you know, that straightforward linear progression going, and sometimes it is obnoxious, like the high road is literally just a dirt path that stretches on into the horizon that you have to follow to the horizon. But there was more to do along the way in Final Fantasy X, which is what I feel that the structure of this game is like. And it wasn't just Final Fantasy X that did that. A lot of PlayStation 2 RPGs had that kind of structure to them because the PlayStation 2's hardware capabilities were a bit on the weak side, but they still wanted to have these big expansive RPGs anyway, so they couldn't have areas that were too open, otherwise the graphics would suffer, so everything got a little bit narrow.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with linear design as long as you make that design interesting. Is
Yeah.
the thing. You don't need everything like the problem with Final Fantasy 13 isn't just that it's a hallway, it's that the hallway has nothing to find.
Nothing to do.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Did all three Pokemon evolve from the
Yep.
same fight?
Yep.
Torracat. That's
I want to know
Oh,
at
God.
what point did they decide after Torracat's design, you know what, he needs to be a wrestler.
Torracat. Okay.
Well, that's John. That's why I named him Stiletto.
I know just enough to be able to say that naming this Pokemon Torracat, basically, it's Tiger Cat. That's literally what the name is, Tiger Cat.
You see, the weird thing, Gen 7's like one of the only gens where I actually like all three mid starter evolutions. Usually the mid form's the ugly, awkward teenager hormone form with pimples in a pube stash. I'm ready to fight to leave for, Dad. No, you aren't, son. Wait until you're right.
It's funny because it's true.
Yeah, but like most of the time, the mid stage is really butt ugly. Get that? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but like this is a really cool view. This is a really cool and adventurous view. There's a big wooden bridge there. There's street signs. It's dark. The stars are out. You can see the ocean down below. That's
an actual.
shit.
That's a route that you can
actually
explore
go there.
down there.
Yeah,
Like
this is great. This is great shit. It's a really adventurous view to go through. Now all I want is for them to try and integrate some minor gameplay elements that add to that. I kind of resent the removal of the bicycle in this respect because it would have been really fun to ride bicycles through these environments.
Well, you don't like riding a bull?
Well, riding a bull is nice, but I would have at least liked to have the bicycle for flavor.
I think you might actually appreciate Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon a little bit because there are more minor events that happen along routes and in towns that kind of have that sort of feel. I mean, like, for example, in that area we just were, there's a Rockruff there, and you can just play with it. It doesn't do anything, but you can, like, play with it. You can turn around. You can play
it's like those little things help, too. It's like there's, what game am I thinking of? Where, like, it's an action game, and you can just, like, there's a park. You can sit down on one of the things and just ride it for a little bit, and it's dumb, but it's a nice little thing that you can mess with while you're passing through that gives the environment a bit more meaning.
Oh, that's something that's in black and white where you can just ride the Ferris wheel for no good reason, except for the time where N takes you on his creepy date.
Yeah, and those kind of things.
And then you go on the creepy date in the Japanese version where you're going with a cross-dressing daycare center person.
Yeah, those kind of things would help. What I'd like to see, like, here's a thing. Instead of having this random ass pet the animal on your touchscreen mechanic, let's have a camping thing where you can camp out at a campsite, and instead of it just being you can heal
I've come up with a new recipe.
Well, instead of it just being a heal up and gain experience thing, have that be where the petting your Pokemon thing happens.
Oh, you want to know what? You would
Feed
like
your Pokemon,
Dragon Quest 11 because that actually has a similar kind of thing where you can camp and talk to people at the camp and stuff.
Yeah,
Lewis.
Yeah, that's a good that's a good way to do it. It doesn't have to be intrusive. It's something that you can. It's kind of like in the Grandia series as well, where occasionally during the story everyone will sit down and have dinner, and there's this conversation thing that happens where you pick a person and they'll say their piece, and it's not mind blowing. It's not blowing the gates of video game storytelling wide open with new and amazing concepts, but it's fun. It lends the group that you're adventuring with a kind of chemistry. And
can I just say that I love the Grand Trial battle theme? It's probably my favorite battle theme in the game, I would have to say. What my favorite part about it, though, is that it starts off so ominous and like ba 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 da da da, and then it goes like ba da da da, and then like halfway through it just decides, nah, dude, we're not. This isn't serious. Chill out.
You're totally gonna win this. You're fine.
Yeah.
Wow, this is gonna be a kick-ass game. We just started off the first island by killing Majin Buu.
Absorb Pikachu. Yeah.
Honestly, Hala's one of the easiest ones because there's like 15 different psychic types you can get on Melee Island.
And if you choose Dartrix, you have a flying move.
Oh, if you choose Popplio, you get fairy moves,
Yeah,
which
fairy.
are all.
I
Yeah, so
like this Pokemon. This Pokemon design is brilliant.
Why, I oughta.
so what's actually fun? The only way you can find this Pokemon, Lewis, is
in berry
bushes, because it's eating the berries and it's pissed off you're trying to take them. I love Crabrawler. It's one of my favorite Pokemon from Gen 7.
But its evolution sucks.
Well, I mean, the evolution kind of looks a little weird. It's great stat-wise. The only problem is that this is one of those weird Pokemon that only evolves in certain regions, and in this game, that region is literally Victory Road. So you cannot evolve this Pokemon until, like, the very end of the game. So I used that for my Sunfile. So what I did was, like, once I got to level 40 and its stats were lagging behind, I traded it to my Moonfile, stuffed a rare candy in its mouth in Victory Road. It leveled up, evolved, and then I traded it back because life's too short.
Yeah. Okay.